Every story is more than just words, it carries a lesson, a mystery, a truth. Welcome to Myth and Meaning, where we explore the wisdom hidden in every tale. Let's begin.
Ọlátúndé had always seen the world differently. As the royal cartographer of Ìlú Ayé, he charted rivers, mountains, and villages with an accuracy that made travelers and traders alike marvel at his skill. The people believed his hands were guided by the gods, for his maps never failed. But it wasn't until he made a mistake that he realized his gift was a curse. One night, by the dim glow of an oil lamp, he was finishing a new map for the Oba, marking the boundaries of the kingdom. By accident, he drew a river that did not exist, a thin, twisting line cutting through the heart of the land. He meant to erase it the next morning. But before he could, the palace drums thundered. A messenger arrived, breathless. "Oba, Ado requests your presence," he panted. "A new river has appeared overnight." Ọlátúndé's hands trembled. The river he had drawn was real. At first, Ọlátúndé thought it was a miracle. If his maps could shape reality, what else could he create? Curious, he experimented carefully. He sketched a hidden valley, and days later, hunters returned speaking of a place that had never been there before. He added a small island in the southern waters, and fishermen found it exactly where he had drawn it. But then came the disappearances. For every new land he created, something else vanished. A farm was swallowed by forest. A village near the eastern hills ceased to exist. People awoke in strange places, their memories confused, as if the past itself had been rewritten. And then the Oba found out. King Ado was no fool. He knew power when he saw it. "You will redraw my kingdom," he ordered, staring at Ọlátúndé with cold ambition. "Make it richer. Grand. Erase my enemies. Expand my rule." Ọlátúndé had no choice. With a heavy heart, he reshaped cities, erased rebellious towns, and redrew the kingdom's borders. The tribes who opposed the Oba disappeared overnight. Warriors and entire villages were wiped from existence, leaving only empty land where they once stood. But Ọlátúndé remembered. The weight of his curse pressed down on him like an unseen hand. The more he drew, the more he saw the faces of the lost in his dreams, whispering, weeping, begging him to stop. Until one night, a new name appeared on the map. His own. Fear gripped Ọlátúndé. He had never written his name on a map before. He hadn't drawn it, and yet there it was, etched faintly at the edge of the kingdom, near a place that did not exist. He searched the palace archives, desperate for answers, and found an ancient map hidden in a dusty chest. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, an old, brittle parchment filled with ghost villages, places that had no history, lands that should not exist. A map of forgotten places. And in the center, where no land should be, was a small ink mark, one that looked eerily like the symbol he used to sign his work. His heart pounded. Had there been another cartographer before him? Someone who had also wielded this power? And if so, where were they now? Defying the Oba, Ọlátúndé set out to find the unmarked land. The journey took him through ghost towns, where whispers echoed in empty homes. He crossed dense forests that should not have been there, their trees older than memory itself. The world shifted as he walked, as if it was trying to rearrange itself around him. Then, at the very edge of the kingdom, he saw it. A land unfinished, like a half-written story. It was blank, an empty expanse where no trees grew, no rivers flowed. The sky above it was colorless, the ground smooth like untouched parchment. And standing in the center of the emptiness was a man. The cartographer before him. The old man's eyes were hollow, his voice barely above a whisper. "You have seen the truth," he said. "This power, it does not create. It only moves things. When you are to the map, something else is taken away." Ọlátúndé swallowed hard. "Then what is this place?" The man gestured around them. "The land of the forgotten. Everything that has been erased ends up here." Ọlátúndé felt his blood run cold. He had done this. He had created this void. The old man placed a hand on his shoulder. "There is only one way to undo it. Ọlátúndé already knew the answer. He had to erase himself. Back in his workshop, under the flickering glow of his lamp, Ọlátúndé unrolled a fresh piece of parchment. He picked up his quill. His hands did not shake. For the first time, he drew himself a simple mark just outside the edges of the known world. The ink shimmered, alive, as though it recognized what was happening. He placed a final dot. And then, the world shuddered. The forgotten villages reappeared. The stolen rivers flowed again. People woke up in their homes unaware that they had ever been lost. The kingdom was restored. And as the ink dried on the parchment, Ọlátúndé's name faded from history. No one in Ìlú Ayé remembered Ọlátúndé. The royal archives held no record of him, and the Oba never spoke his name again. But in the great palace library, hidden among the scrolls, there remained one nameless map. A map that never aged. A map that never tore. A map where, if one looked closely, at the very edge of the kingdom, they would see a faint mark, the last trace of the cartographer who had saved them all.
Every story holds a lesson. What did this one reveal to you? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, like, share, and subscribe for more timeless tales. Until next time, keep searching for meaning in every story.